All right, is this mic working? All right, good. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Leon, back here again. I haven't done a YouTube video in some time, and I am back doing um a YouTube video 2022. I haven't done much YouTubing. I would say the last time I done a video was actually quite recently. But I took it off for good reason, and I'll explain later on in the video. But I won't put too much. What's the word I'm trying to put? Not try not to over explain why I took off the video. But there were tons of good reasons why I did what I did. I swear, I look pretty funny with the shadow on the side. I don't know. It has that nice little aesthetic to it too. Not sure. Well, anyways, I am doing this recording on the 31st, which is pretty much um, a time pretty much where everybody is what at home watching TV or getting ready for the New Year's countdown, whatever that may be. So that was something I figured I got nothing going on. Might as well do a video on what I'm trying to reach for 2023. And I'm sure, as everyone knows, and for those that have watched me for some time now, I'm sure that everyone is aware that for those that are not familiar right now, that I'm making a move down to Florida, which, um, of course, I definitely have a lot of reasons why I'm going to Florida, and I'm sure I won't try to explain to it on it too much because I've already said on my pod episodes and my podcast, which I'm going there because I wanted to seek different opportunities, and I'm just getting tired of living down in Georgia, because I have to say the experience that I've lived in Georgia, I don't know, it's for me. I'm pretty much past that to this point, and as someone I'm glad that I've lived in Georgia State. Don't get me wrong. I loved it when I was here and all, but I don't know that I'm to a point that this isn't for me anymore, and I'm I'm growing, and to a point that I it's something I don't want to continue on living in Georgia anymore. So, oh damn, there's a lot of bombs. Anyways, there's just a lot of fireworks, so I'm getting a little bit distracted. So you have to excuse me. But so going forward, um, with that's the reason why I am making a change in my life, and because of all this that's happening. So to me, I don't got too much time right now living here in good old Georgia. I have to do this because, for one, I'm sure some of you already know that I'm big into crypto, and I'm sure that many of those that do know me on a personal level. I'm sure there's one. I'm not gonna call it out his name, but he's not a fan of crypto, and he says that he's not very confident about crypto, and I remember he mentioning that he's not a fan because it's a big old scam. There's no essential value to it, and he says the same thing with NFTs, which what he says about it is that it's just another Ponzi scheme scam. He doesn't buy it, and while I don't think all NFTs are scams, I do think he's not very, what's the word I put it, intelligent about NFTs. And it all comes down to knowing what you do with NFTs, and it's not just about the artwork. I mean, NFTs, from what a friend of mine explained about NFTs, is very interesting because I like the work. I like where with NFTs, I think it's quite a bit. It's quite fascinating because what I like about it is that it's not just art; it's a utility, pretty much, and you use it for many different applications. And to me, I'm open up to going in and trying to learn more about NFTs as time goes on. And I've been very much exposed to NFTs from across friends that actually know about it, and especially with someone that I know overseas that experimented with NFTs. I would say that, and I'll admit at the first, I'm not a fan of NFTs when I first got into it, and that's where to a point. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I'll ever get into NFTs myself, but that's something I've just gotta study out more and experiment. Oh shoot! There's fireworks. Oh, okay. And then now it's been 1 hour later. Oh god, there. It's miserable out there. Fireworks. It's horrible. Just get a good sight of the fireworks, the lights. It wasn't that great. I'll tell you, not a good sight at all. It's really not a good sight. Um, Really, it's not like very thrilling or exciting if you were to go to like the big city to see some fireworks, or probably see the excitement happening. Again, it's not that great. I'll put it there tonight. Um, Continue on what I was saying. Where I left off was that but yeah, where I wanted to go uh, about this blog. For me, I have tons of things going on, but besides my other side projects, which I got other other things I wanted to do, which the last couple days I got some inspiration, especially with things that came about, and especially with creative writing, um, which I got to a point that I was like, I'm up to something. I don't want to announce it right off the top, which I don't want to, but I will say for the meantime, it's going to be kept in hush hush. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna say anything out there because I know. I'm not ready to release anything yet, as far as I can see. Now, my podcast, however, as of this year, 2023. So moving on forward, towards the new year happening. There's going to be more episodes, more releases, so on and so forth. So we're now into the first of the the first of the month, right? Brand new year, brand new start, and what's I am trying to keep and maintain a job as of right now. Keeping the job right now, keeping where I can make some income and so on. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't been doing a lot of podcasting. I haven't been doing a lot of streaming because certain things happening right now. In next couple of days, I'll be doing a lot. Moving, actually helping my parents from that's in South Florida, trying to leave South Florida and get to Central Florida, and that's part of where I'm at. I'm at this point of life right there too, and especially now with things happening, I have to say, very excited. Very. I don't know about excited, but it is definitely new and brave, adventurous start. Where this is gonna go, and to me, the reason I wanted to move because I wanted to take a chance to doing something else, and that's why I figured let me just make a change. Let me just do something a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to do this quick little blog, and I figured why not at this point. And and I'm sure that there are going to be people in my community, and especially on Discord. Why have I stopped streaming? And it's just like what I explained already, because I'm trying to maintain a job, all right. And there's a point in my life that I'm not gonna have time to stream because I'm trying to keep a day job, and it's not easy. For one, trying to keep a solid, I don't know, like it's just solid work ethics right now at this point. It's just a solid just a job. That way I can just keep something where I can have a little bit of reference to and a little bit of work history. That's the word I'm trying to bring up. It's just have a good work history because for one, I do need it, and plus streaming isn't paying the bills, and that's one of the reasons I had stopped, and I actually stopped since Jan was it January? No, take that back. June. It was actually mid June that I've stopped streaming because I was ready to get out of my house. Out of my old house in that in my neighborhood, and for one, I just needed to get out of that house. And I know that during the time that was my mom's place under my mom's name, so I figured let me just go ahead and get things ready, get things done. And one of the challenges I would say for 2022 and looking back at it right now was for one, it's it's just the move, the planning, and everything involved with things that's been happening. And the only reason there's just been delay after delay after delay is because we've um we've been trying to find a place right there too, and also during the time, especially early last year, my mom actually got married. You know, at the age of 62, married my stepdad. You know, and it was quite different, and and I know this was a very new thing that happened to my mom, and congrats to my mom about that too. It was absolutely exciting, but right now this is a very new journey for her. I I have to say it was something I didn't know when they were gonna get married, but they were married back last year of February. So it was quite an exciting time. Very exciting time to for at most. So good for her. But then at the same time, I can definitely see that the way I can see with my mom was going through it is that my mom wanted to go for a new direction in life. Another thing I want to do point out is that for me, Atlanta, it's just not something that's in my interest anymore. I didn't think I want to um, continue staying in Georgia, and I never had initial plans on staying in Georgia for uh, X amount of years. And first of all, 20 years. Let me just put it this way: 20 years in my life that I lived in a state like this. That's still a good long time. That personally for me, that's a lot. That's still a long time. Knowing from at the age of 13 and now coming in my early 30s now, that is still a hell of a long time living in a place like that too. You know, you cannot say that it isn't a long time. It sure is a good chunk of your life, a quarter of your life actually, to live in a place like Georgia State, and that's why I'm ready to go, go, and do something else. And Georgia as a state, if you're gonna make it in Georgia, maybe like if you're young, I don't know, have ambitions. If you're, let's say, looking to work for the entertainment industry, and I know Atlanta now is very big in the entertainment industry now. And to me, that's not my passion. I don't plan on becoming a producer, a an actor, um, or whatever that's going on in Atlanta. That's not for me. That really is not for me. And I say that because I for one, I know that the city of Atlanta is growing, but and I know that there's a lot of people moving all over the place. That is far from it. That I do know that is true, but I just don't see it. I don't. And also the tech sector. I don't know. It's not. like large, like Silicon Valley or New York or Austin, Texas. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have a big tech hub, and to me, I wanted to go where I'm passionate about too. I mean, Atlanta's okay. I mean, like I said, like if you're young, trying to make it in the city, whatever, that's great. That's all up on you too. And I have nothing against for if anyone that wants to be in the entertainment business. But like I said, not for me. I figured there'll be someone that's into that industry, and I will. Let me actually add is this that I'm sure there are great actors, and I do know an actor in person that works in the acting industry too. Um, and he's a cool guy, and I know him. He's accomplished a lot in his adult years, and I've known him for now 6 years. So that's something I have tons of respect for him because he's done lot more than I ever accomplish. So not not to put him in a very high above me or try to put him in a pedestal. And as far as I can see, once things are much more stabilized, as far as my end, because I know I'm gonna be leaving my roommates or AKA ex friend's place. I will definitely have all my place sorted out. I'll have a table for my setup, things like that too. And that'll be something I'll have things set up in down the works and see just to see where that goes. And from what I mentioned from the introduction, I'm sure you're gonna wonder what happened to the last video, and I'm sure many of my subscribers have seen the video. And also, I had a friend that kind of talked me into not trying to vent my problems to the internet, and that would have made things a lot worse if I did. And to tell you the truth, the only reason I created that video in the first place was I was very unhappy with kind of the situation and 6 months here living in my roommate's place, and so that's the reason why I decided to post it because kind of share feeling my feelings towards the situation, and not that I'm trying to paint him into a villain, even though he's um the roommate I know that I'm currently living with. I mean, we're on good terms and stuff like that too, but I have tons of ideological differences, and the way one of my other friends looked at it was you're just painting him as much of a villain, and that to me they're gonna almost take the side out of him, uh, then onto you, and I think I was in the case very true, and that's why many of the reasons I took it out, and that's why I ended up um, not keeping the video on my channel. So look at it this way, yeah, I think it was best that I took it off. Even though he told me, well, why didn't you put it private? It's like, why the hell should I put it private? Like, because there really isn't something. It's not even a video worth keeping private if it's not really worth it at all. I'm gonna let everyone in my community know that yes, there's gonna still be more podcasting coming up. I will be doing it frequently, and to me, I might end up changing hosting providers with because the fact that Blueberry has a limited it's very limited what you post and just depends on your content if it's long form. I might have to cut it off and put the important things on it, and that's one of the disadvantages I will say about Blueberry is the depends on your hosting. I might have to switch from Blueberry to and go back to Acast because I like how I can put most of my long form out there and express myself a little bit further on because because I like it. Oh, well, that's what I like about Acast is that I didn't have to pay for the service, and with Blueberry you do. And even though they do give you um, a good amount of support and documentations on how things are gone, and that's why I went from I left Acast last year to Blueberry just because I wanted to have something. Just I just want more reach and more basically advertisements to help with my channel. Figured it'll be something. Plus, I was growing my podcast a little bit, so it was really cool that I've got more viewers or not viewerships. Excuse me, listenerships. The last couple of months, but since now I just been very inactive because due to work purposes, work reasons. That's why I haven't been posting as much as of lately. So as you can see, why I figured this is the reason why I have to work and not be selfish. And a classic example, and I this is something I'm going to get into it right now, where the reason I had to continue working, and especially I'm sure everybody knows what's up, and I'm sure that nobody needs to hear all that yada yada yada, but something needs to be said, I'm sure, and and this is just something I'm not gonna call out names or anything on the matter, and the only reason why I've continued work why I'm continuing working is I'm sure going back with the earlier statement that I've said, the only reason I am doing it because trying to have a work history and have good keep up with good work ethics. That's the reason why. And the other reason is I'm sure a lot of people know that the reason why did I cut streaming? It's because streaming isn't paying the bills, unfortunately. Let's say, for example, have get an apartment for myself one of these days. Then I there's gonna be a point that I will have to have some income. And unfortunately, streaming isn't wasn't paying the bills for me, and that's why I came back to work. And that's the reason why when you are trying to help yourself, help get things going in life, and while you there is nothing wrong of having a little bit of this and that, and and treat yourself. Sure, there doesn't mean that you can't do that, but at the same time, um, you cannot afford to be selfish. That's the reason I have to bring it up, and especially a classic example that I've known about this, especially um, a family that I know for 7 years, and of course, it's this family I know. Amazing people. The husband, I love the husband. I come to the dinners, and oh my god, he makes one of the best beef Wellingtons every year on Christmas. This guy is amazing, and I'm going off subject on this too, but especially when I know one of the in-laws, he's a streamer himself, which is funny because it's like, oh, he's a streamer himself. That's actually quite cool, and he's a family guy himself too, and streams online. And I think it's fine if you're a family guy and does streaming. Sure, that's neat. But one of the things I'd say when you are doing things in life, especially trying to bust your ass, work several amount of hours, and and then the thing about it, what I can say is that probably I know one day this will come up to me, and I look at this as something I'm being realistic and something I want to do to improve myself, and help myself. And the thing is though, I like to have a little bit of savings in case if I anything comes up, and let's say if I decided I wanted to have a family of my own, and things like that. You have to have money. You have to have income, unfortunately. Um, everything everything runs on money, and that is why I have to do things that I have to step out of my own comfort zone. You know, I'm getting to the point that I'm growing older, and I'm not getting any younger, unfortunately. And one of the things I would say, especially, and the father that does the beef welding teams every year, and he's a content creator. I'm not gonna even bring his name up because again, confidentiality and things I don't want to bring up, which is very private, which I definitely want to respect that too. And he like I've said, he's accomplished a lot more than I have, and I would say to a point um is that for one, he is a hardworking father and takes care of the kids, works and does what he can. And even though, especially himself, he does run a YouTube channel, which is cool and something that he does actually a better job than I do, and maintaining a channel and keeping it up to date. And I love the card game material that he does in his channel. Unlike mine, it's um, more about tech related channel, more about podcast commentary, things like that too. Something I don't share. Nothing. Not there's nothing in common we have with our channel. Okay, he has a trading card channel, which while I do tech talk, podcast commentary, things like that, and I talk about things that has a lot of social issues I talk about here and there, which is something I like to have a bit of diversity in my channel. That's the reason why Leon LeGray podcast was formed, because I wanted to bring other things, especially with things going on in society and some of the BS and the bullshit, right? And that's why I've figured I wanted to create a podcast, so it's not that way. There's someone out there that loves the niche. The and technology is always happening every year. New things happen. I enjoy this topic, and even though a friend of mine calls it a political channel, which I'm sorry to tell you, it is not a political channel. But unfortunately, it's I had to bring it to you, and it is not. Even though I had criticized the Prime Minister of Canada actually in one episode before, it is not a political channel. It has many times out of 10, it's mostly to do with tech and social commentary. And a lot of the times it is. I always bring up probably leaders in the world, because I do think many times out of 10, if they do something stupid, I love to criticize the fuck out of them. That is why I say things that are pretty much out there, and that's to me that I don't give two shits. I don't give a flying fuck. And to me, and that's one of the things that made me want to go out and do podcasting and speak my mind out. And that's, as you know, why. Because I like to express myself and give out things that are going to seem a bit controversial. And, a lot of people don't have the balls to say that wants to say what I want to say. Especially when you're a content creator. I think this is one thing I think when it comes to being a content creator, and you have to know you have to know when you can push things, especially, and when you can continue on with your channel. And don't get me wrong, I know there are content creators and streamers out there, but you gotta have to ask yourself, are you doing it for fun? Are you doing it professionally? Now, there's it's two different things, right? If you're doing for fun, then you're just enjoying yourself, right? And you're not worried about the pay. When if you're doing YouTube videos or streaming, I'm sure that it's legitimate and you are doing it because you enjoy it. Now, if you're doing it professionally, yeah, then pay is always going to be very, very important, especially when you're doing tons of content on the internet, tons of things doing. You're doing things, whatever you're doing on YouTube. I don't care if it's fashion, uh, game related topics, um, or whatever you're doing on YouTube. I think it is quite important because I, for one, I can definitely see that a lot of people want to make it to the YouTube grind, the Twitch grind, or the Facebook grind. Let me just go ahead and get straight to a point. For example, the person that I know that yeah, he's one of the in laws, pretty good guy, but and he does a lot of streaming on Facebook, which I will say that it's cool, but a lot of people never ever ever go and talk about their net worth online, and which I can see why, because that's very private, and I don't even expect anyone to reveal that. I don't ever ask personal questions about that too. And here's my thing: if you are doing it consistently, if you're getting enough watch times, and how many people are watching you, then there are legitimate reasons to make it professionally. Legitimate reasons that you can be doing it. You're doing it professionally. But however, if you only get like, I don't know, less than a certain amount of views, and if you're an interesting content creator, let's just say, then are you getting paid for your professionalism? That's why I'm saying. And this guy is a family man. Now, note that if you are a person doing it and you are getting paid really well, I have nothing against people that are streamers who are family guys out there, and I'm sure they are are entertaining and doing it a fine job with that too. And I have no problem. I have no problem at all with that. Now, if you are doing it um, for selfish reasons, if you're doing content creating because you love the fun of it, but however you're not getting paid to for your own professional use, then you guess what? Um, this is not this is not a job. 100%. If you are not making a good amount of revenue, for one, and to me, that's a kind of a sign is to back off. Because if I was in anyone's position, let's just say the amount of work I put in my channel, and the fact is that it if I'm making, I don't know, maybe $100 a week or whatever, or how much streaming it is, don't know. The thing about streaming, and then also aside from that, and if you have a family of your own, the problem is um you continue to be selfish. And I do think people make horrible mistakes on that too, and it's not a good sign of a well mannered family guy that's taking responsibility in their hands. Unfortunately, there are people like that, and they continue to do wrong. But honestly, what's it for me to criticize? What is it for me to criticize? But I shouldn't. But I'm sure you could leave people up to their own devices and continue doing the same old route and making the same stupid mistake. That's on them. But for me, that's one of the reasons I stopped streaming in the first place. Because at some point, if I ever have a family of my own, or for any reason, if I decided to move out of my own or whatever that may be, um, you cannot be selfish. That's the way it is. And for instance, I've watched a documentary. Um, I just rewatched it today, and the first time I watched this documentary, um, Beyond the Last Stage, which is a Rush documentary. If you've not heard the band, uh, what amazing group of a trio, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart. God, the most amazing prog rock trio out there, known to man. And I've saw them twice before, around early 2010s, and thank God I did. But those times have changed. Rush is no longer a band anymore, unfortunately, and I will definitely say I miss it. Uh, One of the things I remember listening to that documentary, and one of the things Geddy Lee said something that was very important when he was out on the road, and he was touring for over 200 cities, and what he said himself was that even though he was performing everywhere else, and they were so successful, and around at the time they were touring for the album Hemispheres at the time, and I come to realize it too. And what he said was actually the exact same thing, and I follow up on was that you just cannot afford to be selfish, and that stuck in my head for many years. And I first watched that documentary around 2014, 2015. I don't remember the date on it, but I first watched it and I began to realize, you know, um, if one of these days, if you get married or whatever, you just cannot you cannot afford to be able to be selfish anymore. And to me, I'm into a point that I'm not in my 20s, and it's not the way things work. I have to live, um, not live just for today, but live for tomorrow as well. And learning that it is very very important. And I see that family is going to be a priority. And unfortunately, many people don't seem to think about it, and that's quite sad. But that's how people are. That's how they are, unfortunately, and they don't keep family in priority. In fact, I'll go ahead and put the link it down in the description so that you guys know what I'm talking about. And also, if you are a fan of Rush like I am, you can go ahead and take a look at the documentary. It is a very, very good documentary from Bangers Film. If you've not checked it out, but I'll definitely link the time signature on it down on the description if you want to take a look. But that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the blog. The blog will be posted pretty soon because I know it is late. But I wanted to make a video for the first of 2023, and I wanted to put it out there before God knows when, because I wanted to get some content out too. And I haven't even got a content for my podcast for about over a month now. So I said, let me just get this out of the way. Thank you so much for sticking around, taking a look at I would say the very first blog post of 2023. And if you want to check more of my content, be sure to subscribe. And if you liked or disagree with me, comments down below. I don't care. I do read the comments, and I will take criticism. And it's something you don't like what I've said, that's fine. Anyways, with that said, take care. You have a great first of the New Year's. Bye bye.